Happy release day to Blood Binds, book 2 in the Beyond the Gloom series. I need to give a big thank you to the Nerd Fam for getting both books 1 and 2 into my hands so I was able to read them back to back, because to me, they felt like 2 halves of one longer book. These were advertised to me as Underworld meets The Matrix, a combination that is, to me, absolutely irresistible. And I totally got these vibes out of the book, more so Underworld than Matrix. Our main character, Aurora, is actually Dracula's heir. And while she may be a vampire, she refuses to be a monster. She wants to reduce the bloodshed that is constantly occurring in this war that has been raging for over a century. However, she doesn't have that much influence. Her family isn't as powerful as it used to be, and even her own mother is undermining her. When Aurora finds out on her birthday that she has been pledged against her will to a true monster, she and her best friend end up going into deep cover, faking their deaths and going into the Black Guild. So maybe here they can turn the tide of the war. If I had left off after the first book, I don't think I would have as high hopes for this series as I do now. When I got to the end of the first book, I hadn't felt like any arcs were really being completed. It felt unfinished. Book 2 is where it really started to feel like a full story. Another issue I had with book 1 is that putting a glossary at the front of a fantasy or sci-fi novel is a red flag for me. I love them at the end, but when I see them in the front, it tells me I need to do memorization before I'll understand chapter 1. I would much prefer that information be conveyed to me through the story itself. However, by book 2, it does feel like this is something that the author has a much firmer handle of, and it is done much more fluently. Book 2 is also where I start to emotionally connect to the characters, and that's what gives the story the weight that it really deserves. Overall, book 2 is where this story really starts to take off. This is where I'm really getting invested and where I want to see more. We don't have a release date yet for book 3. As I said, book 2 is just coming out today, but I'm excited and I'm ready for more. As always, there is a longer write-up of all of this available on my website, along with all content warnings at writing.hallidaynelson.com, and I want to know what you are reading too, because no matter how big this TBR pile behind me gets, I'm going to keep letting it grow. Happy reading.